Hello and welcome back. Welcome back, each of you. Thank you, warriors, for waiting for this long. And we are resuming again. This is another studio we are at, and it has just initiated again. So thank you for waiting. This really counts, right? Watching and being live with me, it matters. Thank you. And we begin again. All right. So are you able to listen to me? Is it audible to you? Sam, Babani? Audible to you? Please respond with a yes or no. Yes. All right. All right. So we'll begin again, Amlan, right? And we'll be quick this time. We will not, we'll ensure that we don't spend much time. We will be quick so that we have to cover the next one as well. So the articles that we cover in snapshot section today, they are on the news. Today's current affairs news. The first one is public sector bank staff accountability. The second one is prompt corrective action by and some stances that have been released by Reserve Bank of India. They'll be applicable from the next year. And the third one is public affair index ranking that has been released by one NGO in our country itself. And we have this day in history dedicated to Times of India. We will know what is the reason for that. And then we have a featured news. Featured news for today is on a very, very important topic that relates to the Pegasus issue, privacy issues and Supreme Court. So here we will understand what are the reasons that the government provides for the cyber surveillance, and what is the issue that privacy concerns, what are the issues that people raised against it, right? So this is what we will cover in the featured news, and we are waiting for the screen to appear. All right, thank you very much, screen. All right, then we have this image of the day about tug of war between some international big international countries. What that tug of war is that about, we'll understand in image of the day. Terms: green crackers, relay planting, strip cropping, invasive alien species, and new abortion rules. This is what I will cover today. And editorial, three important editorials. The first one talking about some financial policies that relate to governance. The second one is on India-USA ties, especially relating to trade and climate. The third one is on rain-fed farming. Case study of the day is on jackfruit. So let's begin. Thank you for being there and witnessing, whatever is happening live here. All right. So the first snapshot is on public sector bank staff accountability. Now, whenever the public sector bank tries to give out money as loans to other people, some of the money is not returned back in time. And if it is not returned back in time, it later might convert into an NPA, right? Non-performing asset, if it is not returned in due time. If it is not returned in due time, it is very much possible that the money that was lent out with a malified intent, that it not be returned later on, right? If this is the case, then this kind of accountability must be asked for from the officer who lent this kind of money. This money was the public money and it was lent to the people. However, there should be a security mechanism for the people who let out this money with the right intentions. So the government, the finance ministry, has issued some guidelines so that there may be an accountability of those officers which are releasing money and that later gets converted to a non-performing asset, right? So this is what this accountability, staff accountability is about. While the money is getting converted into a non-performing asset, it can earlier be classified as a doubtful asset and later a loss to the company, right? And before that, a substandard asset as well, right? So if the money that has been lent is up to 10 lakh rupees, there is no certain liability on the officer, right? Because anytime if one has taken a loan, 10 lakh rupees can get converted into a non-performing asset. What is the reason? In case there is a death in family, in case there are health issues, there is corona crisis, this kind of non-performance can happen on the part of the person who has taken loan. So no corrective action regarding this. But in case the loan is more than 10 lakhs, then there are certain compliances. So if the loan is above 10 lakhs and up to 1 crore, then the regional or controlling officer will have a committee which will examine this kind of loan giving by the staff. In case the amount of loan is from 1 crore to 50 crore rupees, then there will be a certain better level of accountability. So what is that? In case if this is the level at which the loan was sanctioned, one level higher up, they will be the one who will be researching and investigating what led to this kind of non-performance of the asset. So in case it is headed at the regional level, right, given the loan at regional level, then zonal level is the one which will look at it, right? In case it was given at the zonal level, then the circle officer or the head office will start looking into the compliances, right? And in case it is above 50 crore rupees, then if it is a financial fraud, then the regular method of investigation will take place, right? So this is the update on this. This has been given by Finance Ministry so that rules are standardized for all the banks, all right? Yes, so Amlan say 90 days for NPA. Absolutely true. But during the COVID times, the norms also changed a little, right? So non-performing assets classification also changed to 180 days for some time for certain sectors. So this is why I am not declaring the time duration, but all I will say is that non-performing asset includes, NPA includes substandard assets, and then after that they are classified as lost assets, and there's another classification in between, right? So this is why I'm not giving you the timeline right now. Now, what is the reason for having such a framework? Few important reasons are: one, there should be some fear of the law, fear of 3 C's. The 3 C's are CBI, CVC, and CAG, Comptroller and Attorney General, Auditor General, right? So these are the 3 important C's who the government officers should fear before sanctioning these kind of loan. Not only that, there is also an accorded protection mechanism for the right persons, right? So everybody will not be dragged into these kind of cases, because once it is given with a good intent, then it will come up in the investigations automatically, right? So not only that, there will be some slowness in giving credits and loans. This is a very good step. Why is it a good step? Is because if the authorities are giving loan without even thinking twice, then it leads to higher NPAs, non-performing asset. So therefore, there should be some slowness in giving loans. But is it not going to lead to some crisis in the market then? Of course, there will be a crisis. There will be a stalling credit growth. There will be less credit available in the market because of the slowness in the procedure. But this is required to ensure that the government money, the public money, is not spent for those purposes for which it was not intended, right? That means here it is completely fraud that we are talking of, right? So this is the first one. The second snapshot is on prompt corrective actions. These have been edited by the Reserve Bank of India. They were initiated in the year 2004. Around this time they were initiated, 2003-04, and the prime agenda was to be able to check those banks which are defaulting on certain or the other important parameters of finances, right? So quick history to it before we understand what is the update here. It was released in December 2002, and the main agenda here was to have a structured early intervention mechanism for banks. Early intervention mechanism for banks. What is the kind of intervention? Now, this is where the authorities will be observing those banks which have certain weak indications, weak parameters of finances, right? And if they are more vulnerable towards the economic setup, then there will be some restrictions imposed on them. Restrictions on growth, restrictions on giving credit to people, restrictions on giving share in the market and releasing the kind of dividends, right? So here the RBI has released some standardized guidelines, updated guidelines on the same, right? So what are the guidelines? Let us understand that quickly, right? These kind of articles become important, and a couple of these kind of articles, if themes related to this are asked in UPSC main examination, people are not able to respond because they are little technical in nature. So I will make you understand all this in very, very simplified terms. Now, there are 3 dimensions on which any of the bank will be, their rating will be calculated. The 3 dimensions are capital, asset quality, and leverage. So the amount and quality of capital they have, the quality of asset that they are lending, and the leverage, the kind of profit that they are making. So these are the 3 important parameters, right? And in these 3 parameters, the technical term that will be able to gauge them are first CRAR, capital adequacy ratio, right? Capital risk adequacy ratio. So to understand what is the quality of capital risk adequacy ratio will be there. In this, it is very simple. This is the ratio of the capital that is available with the bank to the amount it has lent in the market. So the amount it has lent in the market. So suppose it has lent 100 rupees in the market. Should it not have certain bare minimum capital reserves at itself? So in case it has 10 rupees and it has lent 100 rupees, so there should be some amount of cushion with the bank available all the time. This is the ratio we are talking of, CRAR. In case this ratio increases, is it not safe for the bank? Yes, it is safe for the bank. In case this ratio decreases, right, if there is 5 units available with the bank and it has lent 100 units, then it is not safe. So this is one of the parameters. The second parameter is asset quality, right? So we are talking of non-performing asset. If the non-performing asset is 6%, there is a different level of risk threshold. If the non-performing asset is 9%, it changes again, right? So this depends on that. And leverage ratio is the kind of profit that the bank makes on the amount it has invested, right? So these are the three under which the parameters will be judged. So what happens is that on the basis of CRAR, NPA, and the third one, the risk threshold of the banks is calculated, right? So one parameter going above, shooting up, it will come in risk threshold 1. In case it shoots up even more and becomes riskier, it will get into risk threshold 2 and later risk threshold 3. And then the prompt corrective actions the bank has to take will be increased, right? So bank will be under more regulations. They will not be able to even perform their business appropriately at that time. So earlier, the first one, they cannot have a dividend distribution immediately, right? They cannot be giving dividend in case, that means they cannot be giving money to the shareholders, even in case they are going through a tough time, right? So this is one. Then they will also have to start bringing in capital. The bank owners, promoters will have to start bringing in capital in case it is risk threshold 1. In case there is a greater degree of risk, then they cannot even expand their business. So this will start hurting the branch and bank business also, right? And then in the third one, the capital expenditure and the merger moratorium on banks, they will all increase, right? So there will be more prompt corrective actions as the risk increases. This is the update here, right? So you can see new management also, there'll be an attempt to introduce the new management here. Business restructuring, credit risk management, to reduce loan concentration, right? Ownership also might change in this, and there may be a moratorium on certain kind of business. So these are the important updates regarding prompt corrective action. Okay. All right. Thank you, screen. Thank you, screen. All right. Now the third one is the Public Affairs Index ranking. Public Affairs Index ranking. It has released. So this Public Affairs Center. This is a think tank based in India itself. It has released its 6th edition, and it says that certain states are well performing, certain states are not as good performing as far as governance is considered. So the 3 pillars of this report are equity, growth, and sustainability. It has ranked Kerala as the state which is the outperformer, followed by Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh in the large state category in Public Affairs Index. And the states which are not performing well, the top one is Uttar Pradesh, and then we have Odisha and Bihar. And when we talk of small states, Goa, Meghalaya and Himachal are the top ones, and Manipur, Delhi, Uttarakhand are the bad ones here. So do remember Kerala as the top performing state, and South Indian states Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, and also Goa as another top performing small state, right? Also Chandigarh has been accorded the best rank in the Union Territory category, right? So do remember this. What do they rank on? They rank on certain important parameters. So 5 themes, which are accountability and voice, government effectiveness, regulatory control, rule of law, and control of corruption. These are the 5 parameters. Along with that, they also use 14 sustainable development goals and certain important other indicators also. For example, they also have COVID response index, which state did very good in terms of response to COVID issues, right? Also, they have analyzed some important government schemes. So have we not studied National Health Mission? We have. We have also analyzed. They have also analyzed. Have we not studied Integrated Child Development Services, ICDS? We have important scheme by the government. Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, midday meal scheme. See, we have studied all of them, and they have also analyzed this, all these MNREGS. So the point I'm making here is that it seems that we are also on the right track, and so are they, right? So according to what we understand, governance, these are the important schemes we have also covered here, right? So all right. So this is what are the parameters on which these public affair index is ranked, right? Now you would want to ask, why are there 14 parameters only? Why not all the 17 parameters of sustainable development goals? Certain parameters, for example, there is one life under sea, right? Life under water. Now, how can we have that kind of index for continental state? right? Marine life, we cannot have those. So that is why certain of those parameters have been excluded out. All right. So very simple to understand that part. Okay. Now this is the update from the report. This day in history dedicated to Times of India, because this was the day around 200 years back that this Times of India newspaper got initiated. This was then a bi-weekly newspaper releasing only on Wednesday and Saturday, and rest of the days people would wait for it. Civil services aspirants would be happy, less newspapers, less updates, less to study. But now they have it all throughout the week, Monday to Sunday. And in fact, you should be surprised to know that this is the largest selling English daily around the world. Now, why is it the largest selling English newspaper, even when India is not primarily an English speaking country? Just a simple reason. It states, it means we have a high population, right? A great number of English speaking people, even when it is not our mother tongue, even then it is performing well. And it is also the third largest circulated newspaper in India. There are regional language newspapers also circulated, so that is why it becomes third largest, right? All right, moving ahead to the featured news, and which will be just after the conclusion of this particular video, is on state and cyber surveillance, an important article relating to Pegasus Row and what are the issues that people are going through. What is the stand of the government here? Image of the day is on tug of war being conducted between different leaders of the nations. So we have Vladimir Putin, and then we have the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, and then we also have Japanese Premier Modi Saab, and then we have Mr. Mr. Boris Johnson, and then we have a lot of other people on the other side, the Premier of Saudi Arabia and the President of USA and other people here, right? The Chinese Premier as well. What is the main agenda here? See, the image itself is very much self-explanatory, sharing what is the agenda of each and every stakeholder. So now basic countries also have come in again, basic countries, right? So we are talking of Brazil, South Africa, India, all these, and China, right? So their main agenda is that since they're developing in nature, why are you giving us compliances? Why don't we have common but differentiated responsibilities, right? So because India also had to declare its net zero goal, which is 2070 right now. So that is why there is a tug of war between all the various stakeholders. And you should also know there is a tug of war which is being held between all these premiers, all these countries, and non-governmental organizations, right? That means the organizations in the field of greening of the whole world. So they are all fighting, saying we should have more stringent norms. So there is another tug of war which is happening between people, and Greta Thunberg is also there in UK protesting all this, right? So this is the kind of movement that is happening around the world. This is in Glasgow and it started on 31st of November. It will also 31st of October. It will continue until the middle of November. Terms and concepts. Good evening, Jayashree, and good evening, Astha. All right. Terms and concepts. Green crackers. The first term is the green crackers. So why are they in news? They're in news because Supreme Court has given its judgment that places where there is good air, there is no air pollution, those are the places where green crackers can be introduced, right? And in case there are places where there is less control of the pollution norms, then green crackers should not be used there as well. So we are talking of Delhi NCR region where green crackers have also been banned for this particular year. So what are green crackers? Green crackers are those crackers where barium nitrate, potassium nitrate, these are the kind of chemicals which are used in the crackers. They should not be used. Why? Because their shelf life in atmosphere is high. And when they get into, when one inhales them, then it causes huge amount of effect on health of that individual. So some things cause nervous breakdown, some of them cause issues in the lungs, right? So there are many causes of it. There are also additional chemicals like aluminium, like arsenic, right? Like cobalt. They're all put in the crackers so that they yield something or the other. For example, cobalt is for the colors, the green color and the flashy color that we see, that is because of presence in cobalt. So can't we have green crackers which reduces the amount of pollution? Yes, we can have that. And they guarantee reduction of pollution to around 30 to 35% on the crackers, right? So they can be, used only where places they have been permitted to, and not around Delhi NCR, right? So do remember barium nitrate and those kind of entities, all right? So they will help in reducing the kind of particulate matter in the air. Okay. Okay, let me have a look. All right, Kriti has a question. Why hasn't a particular SDG 13, a climate action, not been a part of this? I am not aware of this as of now. This is very much possible. I am making a guess here. This is very much possible that possibly this organization does not have that kind of data for climate action, or it is very much possible that there are other government agencies which are revealing those kind of data, and that is why they are not interfering in this particular SDG 13, right? So this is the kind of guess I can make. There were other indexes also. Niti Aayog had released one index where they had not included the parameter life underwater, and they had also specifically given this reason why they did not include that parameter. And on the basis of that wisdom, that knowledge, I am able to tell you that probably it could be that here, right? Although I have not studied why they have not included that parameter here. I am also an inquisitive person just like you are, but you know, there are times when the agencies, they themselves do not release the information in public space. Not that they don't want to, but getting that information becomes a little tough, right? So they may not have it in their documents. That is the reason. Okay, relay planting and strip cropping. These are the terms which are in use because a recent study has said that relay planting and strip cropping, they can help in bettering the efficiency of the crops. Right? So let us understand what relay planting is and what is strip cropping. See, in relay race, if you have seen, as one of the runners run, the second one is just approaching them, and they pass the baton, and while both of them are running, right? So there is a time when both the runners are actually running, right? One is slowing down, another one is spacing up, and this is the time when the baton is passed. And this is where relay planting also can be understood. Why? See, there are times when another crop is about to get harvested. It is almost at its maturity, and right at this time, if we plant the new crop, despite of having this space empty for a while and then planting the crop, can we do this, that while this plant is being, you know, harvested, right at that same time we plant another crop? This saves times, this saves effort, this also saves the kind of input that we provide. So this is profitable in many ways, right? It gives better efficiency and saves time as well. So this is relay planting. It can be done for many crops in the country. And there is something called as strip cropping. Strip cropping is using the cropping techniques so that one strip is for one crop, another strip is used for another crop. And then we have the first crop again and using the strip for second crop again. So this is the way in which we can have multiple crops planted at the same place at the same time, right? So this has better distribution of labor, right? There is less spread of insect and insecticide both, and we also have better presence of the minerals, right? So this is how you can have relay planting and strip cropping as terms you have learned today. You can put in better practices for agriculture, right? Integrated farming with intercropping. All right. So this also increases the annual crop yield for the environment. Okay. The third one. Okay, Kriti has understood the answer to this question. I got confused because climate is important in this age. This makes sense, sir. Right? So it's good. Let's develop the wisdom together. And very nice, Kriti. It's a very, very good question. I would promote questions, and I know I will not have the answers to all the questions, yet I will put my effort so that your curiosity is solved. See, a good teacher, I had read somewhere, is not the person who gives the answer to all the questions, but a good teacher is the one who ensures that the students start to ask even more, right? They start to ask and they start to find out answers. All right. The third term for today is invasive alien species, IAS, right? These are the kind of species which did not have birth at that same location. They were located at some other place and they were transported to another destination. This can happen through natural means, right? So pollination, natural pollination spreading to another island at all. Or, for example, one good way of this is while the birds migrate, right? So yesterday we had studied one of the migratory routes, right? Central Asian migratory route. So this is one migration of animals, and this can also happen through migration of people. So anthropocentric migration of people from one place to another. Not only people, right? When we just trade with another country, so while we do this on the ballast, with the ship, the ballast, that is the amount of water. Ballast is, the one which makes the ship stable. So when the ship is, used for trade from one place to another, for example, India to USA, this Indian water is filled here, and this water will also contain small microbes, organisms, flora, fauna from India. And when it goes to USA, it is very much possible that the whole ship is filled with goods, and this ballast water, it has to be withdrawn. So when this water is withdrawn, all these microbes and all the kind of species which were there in the water, they will get poured in American waters. And this is where, if at all some species outgrow the other species, natural species in America, then they will be called as invasive species, and they might as well be harmful at places. So if you see this image, they are kind of grasses, for example, lantana grass, right? This grass grows in many of the hilly areas, right? Some of the crops also get hindered in production because of this kind of invasive species. So these are the floral species, right? So plant species. There are also animal species which are invasive in nature, and they are not good for the ecosystem, local ecosystem. And therefore, Convention on Biodiversity, it tries to protect the transport of these kind of invasive species. One should not translocate these kind of species, right? There are many various kind of treaties also to disable these kind of transport. All right. So fourth term in news, another important term is the new abortion rules. See, abortion is politically contested. There are people who say that abortion should not happen, and there are people who say that it must happen in case there is a need. So the new rules state that for the people who have gone through crimes and they have been victims of sexual assault, there should be some margin given for them so that they can go through abortion. So for them, 24 weeks has been given, under which they can get their the small inborn aborted. So this is the update regarding the special cases. Otherwise, the amount of weeks that has been given for abortion to be done is 20 weeks. 20 weeks is around 5 months. Now, why 20 weeks especially? This is the time after which the single cellular organism slowly grows, and this is the time when you would start to see the fully functional limbs, fully functional internal organs getting formed. So before this, there is life, but it is not considered as a human life. It is still very small. It is pluripotent. The small cells are pluripotent, and after that they start gaining efficiency of particular organism. So 5 months, that is around 20 weeks has been given, right? And in case the abortion is done in certain limited time, then approval required is from one particular doctor. This was the rule earlier, and after that, so up to 12 weeks abortion is to be done. So only one doctor permission was required, and if one wants to get abortion done from between 12 to 20 weeks, then 2 doctors permission is required, right? So this is the update from here, and we should also know why this becomes important. See, in case the child is not aborted legally, the person might get the child illegally aborted. In fact, India is one of the countries which is victims to high maternal mortality rate, MMR. You know why is this so? Because of these kind of issues also. People mandatorily need to get it aborted. There is a social stigma attached to these kind of children who are born. So because of sociological reasons, if the mother has to get herself aborted, why not get it done legally? If it is done illegally, there is also a chance of having some dangers to the mother, and that is the reason which causes high maternal mortality rate. In fact, it also hurts the danger of it also at times, in case the child needs to be born, it can hurt because of illegal pregnancies, right? So this is one thing. 50% of abortions in India are illegal, and many unsafe abortions are also done in India, right? Now another important update is that Ayush doctors also will be able to conduct abortions. All right, so this is the update from here. Then we have 3 important editorials. I will quickly cover them today. The first one talks of the policy which matches the intent. So this is specifically talking about the financial policy of finance for the government. So whenever budget is passed, there are 3 levels in which the item for budget is declared, right? So first time when the budget is proposed, right? Suppose I want to purchase some booklets for a government department, and I am one of the IAS officers here. So in the budget, the first proposal will be called as a budgetary estimate or advanced estimate. This will be passed in this budget. in the second budget, whatever I have spent in the year, that will be called as revised estimate, RE. That means a better figure of how much was spent. This is only the proposed amount, but the second one is about around how much I did spend. And the third one, a year even after that, the actuals will be posted. This was the actual spent amount. So it takes around 3 years for one to understand what was the amount that was spent. And do you think that in 3 years time one will be able to account, what happened 3 years back? No, it is not possible. And therefore it is, see, that is what it says, that it takes around 24 months for the government also to understand how much expenditure happened, and leave apart what is the kind of scrutiny that Parliament provides and what CAG provides. And therefore there is a need to have a better understanding over the finances of the government, right? Not only that, there are a lot of funds which are said that they have been spent, but they were not actually spent. They were parked at some or the other government funds, right? Examples were also given, and this is where the Tamil Nadu state, examples of the contingency fund under the government contingency fund under these different kind of exigencies and events, for example natural disasters, these were given. So certain amount of fund was parked. It was said that it was spent, but it was parked in certain officers' kitty, right? Not that it was their personal finances, but it was parked there. The government also did not know that this was not spent. So do we not need to channelize these kind of funds? This is where Tamil Nadu government also participated, and they were able to identify 2,000 crore rupees, 2,000 crore rupees which was unutilized, and now that can be utilized, right? Because they were verified as lapsed, and therefore they were put back again in the economy. So these kind of moves are very good moves. They must be initiated, and this is where the government of India also can learn from. All right, this is the first editorial. So this, see what a wise opinion it is, right? So put this kind of opinion not only in your mind, in your notes somewhere in paper 3 economy section. All right, the next one is on trade and climate, the pivot for India-US ties. See, India and US have got certain kind of trade, and certain degree of trade also happens because of climate change, or climate mitigation, or climate adaptation. And therefore America and India can have better coordination in terms of trading activities for climate. One good example of this is that of solar panels. So India needs solar panels and America provides solar panels, but India and America are going through a tussle at WTO because America has given subsidies to its solar panel creators, and India says that these subsidies are not promoting trade, these are trade distorting. This is the kind of fight that they are having at WTO. In case they resolve these kinds of fight, they will be able to export, USA will be able to export, and India will be able to import solar panels in the country. So this is helping India and America both countering China, because in case they do not do these kind of pacts between them, then China is the one India will have to import from, and China as an economy is growing very much. So this is one example of it. And there are various other examples in which India and America can have pacts which relate to trade and climate, right? So think of those and tell me some of more examples which are of these nature, right? So this is where it says that these countries should reinforce climate change, climate mitigation, and trade, and help each other becoming better interconnected in these two specific terms. Give me some more examples in which America and India can trade in terms of climate change and climate change mitigation. Okay, the third one is the need to boost rain-fed farming. See, India is one of the countries, the editorial says India is one of the countries which has got around 42% of arable land. Not many countries have got this much of arable land. 42% of total area in India can be cultivated. There are many countries where the area is 10% and 15%, very, very less area, but they have better efficiency in agricultural cultivation. So India has got this 42% land in which agriculture can happen, and half of this, almost half of this, is rain-fed. Now this is a very dangerous sign. Why? Because if it is rain-fed and rains are not certain, this is going to create a problem for the agricultural community. This is also going to create problems for the food security of the country, right? So if that is considered, and along with that climate change is considered, then it releases a huge havoc on the country. So the editorial points to pluvial kind of issues. So this is the pluvial issues are the one that relate to heavy rain heavy rain, flooding, right? And these are the kind of disasters that have been predicted in the country. They can spoil crops, and we also have increased presence of drought, increased presence of the cyclones, and they are going to cause the decrease in productivity of the country, right? Agricultural productivity. And that is why what is required is to have increased resilience in agricultural scenarios, especially in rain-fed areas. Rain-fed areas are those where the certain irrigation is not present. It is only rain-fed water in rainy season which is going to help out, right? So during those times, can we not cultivate those kind of crops which are less dependent on water? So legumes, that means pulses. Can we not cultivate crops like oil seeds, right? And also the millets. So these are the kind of crops which require less water. If we cultivate them, not only we will have better food security, we will also have better nutrition security, and also all right, all right. You guys there? So what I was saying was that this is one of the fruits of success, and this is where we come to the conclusion of Gazette discussion for today. We will have the feature news coming up within 5 minutes from right now. And not only that, I would also like to wish a happy Diwali to all of you. Have a safe and happy Diwali at home. We will not have the Gazette for tomorrow. There will be many newspapers not coming tomorrow. It will not be a leave. Yeah, you can take a leave for your celebrations, but day after tomorrow, you should start engaging in revision of this month's and last month's Gazette discussions, right? In case you have missed out some of the discussions, do ensure you watch them, because the exam will ask cumulative efforts of what you have put in the last 1.5 years, and not just 1 or 2 sessions. So we will not have the Gazette for tomorrow and day after tomorrow. We will meet on Monday with the new Gazette. And yes, do wait. We have the feature news discussion in just a short while. Join the new link and we'll be able to discuss the feature news immediately. All right. So thank you and happy Diwali, each of you. Take care. We'll meet you in 5 minutes again. Happy Diwali, each of you.